Welcome to Infocomm Connected. I'm Chris Lyons. Shure is introducing some exciting new products that form an audio ecosystem for conferencing. You can find out more at shure.com/infocom. But first, let's talk to a product expert about each one. Let's get started. And now we're joined by Rob Clegan, who's going to tell us about the new MXA 710 linear array microphone. Now, Rob, lots of people have experience with the MXA 310 table array or the MXA 910 ceiling array microphone. Do we even need a third form factor?
Hey, Chris, I'm glad to join you here and talk about our new microphone. The MXA 710 was really developed to be another part of the portfolio along with the MXA 310 and MXA 910. The 310 provides a great solution right on the table. The 910, of course, is a premium ceiling solution. But we had a lot of customers come to us over the years and ask, hey, is there a way I could maybe put the 910 on a wall? Or I really wanted to use it, but it was too big. I didn't have the right kind of ceiling, or the architect didn't like that shape. Do you have anything else that maybe would work for a different kind of room and maybe a different kind of budget? And that's where we developed the MXA 710 to really be a premium array solution that can go anywhere in the room, whether that's on the table, on the wall, or on the ceiling. So the MXA 710 comes in two lengths. One is a 2-foot or roughly 60 centimeter, and the other is around 4 feet or roughly 120 centimeter long. Both microphones come in three colors, a black, a white, and aluminum. Both microphones have a fully configurable multicolor LED that can also be disabled. And in terms of lobes, with the 2-foot, you get 4 steerable lobes that you can aim to pick up the room. And with the 4-foot, you get up to 8 steerable lobes that you can add to cover the room.
Now, what type of mounting options do I have with the 710? Obviously, the 910 is designed for the ceiling. Where can I put the 710?
The MXA 710 was designed really to go anywhere in the room, and so we've developed a full suite of mounting accessories to go along with the microphone. Included in the box, you actually get a wall mount that allows you to attach the 710 directly to a drywall application in either horizontal or vertical orientation. You also have a couple eyelet screws that come in the box, which can be screwed to the back to allow for suspension mounting with wire rope. And then in terms of optional accessories that we also have a flush mount accessory for both lengths that allows you to actually install it directly into a table or into a drywall or hard ceiling. We also, for some more temporary applications, we have a desk stand that allows you to put it on a credenza or table or any sorts of surface, podium, for example, as well as a microphone stand adapter that allows you to mount the microphone directly on a microphone stand. And lastly, we're also developing a tile bridge as well, and that will allow you to actually mount the 710 directly to an acoustic ceiling tile or hang it below the ceiling tile ceiling.
Now, what about once I get it all mounted and installed? First of all, what about cable connections? What do I need to deal with there? And then how do I get it set up and configure it with the other AV devices in the room?
So the cabling is very simple. It's just like the MXA 310 or 910. It's a single category cable that carries the standard network audio, PoE power, and all the control. And then in terms of actually doing the configuration, it's really simple and easy. We designed the MXA 710 to really be ready to go right out of the box. If you do need to go in and configure anything, you're going to use our Designer software where you can configure the whole ecosystem of Shure products all from one place. So with the MXA 710, it's really easy. When you open up Designer, it'll ask you how have you installed it. And you can just choose whether that's wall horizontal, wall vertical, ceiling, or table, and it will automatically optimize the microphone for those orientations. And then with just one click, you can do all your routing to the Shure ecosystem, turn on encryption if you want, turn on your logic control, the LED, and it's all really fast and you're ready to go very quickly.
Michael Tabor's here to talk to us about some exciting new audio processing software from Shure called Intellimix Room. First of all, I got to ask, why is it a good idea to have your audio processing DSP on a PC instead of in its own dedicated hardware box?
That's a great question, Chris. And really, one of the main reasons we built Intellimix Room is to eliminate unnecessary hardware in the conference room. So when you install Intellimix Room onto that computer, it actually sits alongside the software codec and talks directly to that codec. So you reduce the need for USB connections or USB extenders from external devices. And it's really just meant to simplify the manual installation, the physical installation of that system, as well as the cost and complexity.
Oh, that's great. Well, let's talk a little bit about the details of Intellimix Room for people who aren't familiar with it yet. So how many inputs and outputs can I have, and what kind of processing blocks are built into it?
Absolutely. So Intellimix Room is offered in 8-channel versions and 16-channel versions. And on each of those inputs, microphone inputs, features our Intellimix DSP, which is echo cancellation, noise reduction, automatic gain control, and automatic mixing. It allows networked audio from Dante devices to be processed and made echo-free for video conferencing. The app also features the ability to harness the peripherals of the computer itself. For instance, an HDMI output to a display, or a USB to a USB speaker bar, for example, or even a 3.5mm jack.
Well, that sounds great. So I can really leverage all of the connection points on the PC itself and include those in my system if I want to.
Right. The beauty of not having to buy that hardware, you've turned that computer hardware into your DSP hardware now, essentially.
Now, it actually sounds like this could be kind of complicated to actually set this all up and configure it so that my Shure ecosystem microphones like MXA 710 or 910 are, correctly configured with Intellimix Room and so forth. How do I do that?
Yeah, so all of our Shure network system devices are configurable with Designer software. So just like any other device, you would discover Intellimix Room on the network within Designer. You can add Intellimix Room alongside any of those devices you just mentioned into a location or room, conference room. And actually, with some recent additions to Designer software as of 4.2, there's an optimize button. So you press one button and it will actually route all your Dante audio. It will apply EQ settings and automixer optimization settings for you. So it's really as easy as that, Chris.
That's great. It sounds like a really painless solution, and it gives system integrators a lot of great options for configuring meeting rooms for their clients. We're here with Michael Moore from Shure, who's going to talk to us about the new MXA NMB network mute button. Now, Michael, when you put microphones on the ceiling, as is real popular these days, like our MXA 910 ceiling array microphone, now that the microphone's out of reach, the question comes up, well, what if I want to mute the audio, but can't I just use a room control system to do that?
Yes, Chris, you can use a room control system to do that. But if you really are just looking to mute the microphone on a very streamlined audio system, the network mute button allows you to mute Shure devices within our ecosystem without needing any type of certified programming skills.
Well, that's terrific. So I'm trying to imagine exactly what this thing looks like, how this goes together and connects and everything. What are the mechanics of all this?
Well, Chris, it's a really simplistic button design. So fits any 1-inch hole in a table. So if you do have existing button mics on a table and you want to upgrade your system with our ceiling arrays, this is a quick, simple way to add a basic mute control on your table utilizing a hole you may already have. It is a capacitive touch top device that connects to the base, that compresses it to the table, and one single network cable connects it into the Shure ecosystem.
Oh, that sounds really efficient and straightforward. What about mounting it? How do I actually, connect this to the rest of the system as far as cabling and so forth?
Yes, so you simply connect that RJ45 to the switch that is connected to your other devices, maybe an MXA 910 or the new 710 array, and maybe you're leveraging P300 as a certified Zoom platform device, and you would like to have this connect that. All of this can be quickly and configured easily by dragging and dropping these devices into our Designer software platform. and then just simply connecting logic ports between the devices, and then they automatically recognize the devices that they're controlling.
Oh, that's terrific. That's really simple. Now, what if I need multiple buttons because I've got a long table and I want to have one button at each end to make it easier for people to reach? How do I do that?
The beauty of the network mute button is that it is scalable. We can take multiple buttons if we need a button on each end of the table to control a single MXA 910 in a ceiling, or maybe we just need a single button to control multiple MXA 910s in the ceiling. The power is there to leverage multiple buttons to multiple mics, or a single button to a single mic.
And then like some of the other Shure ecosystem microphones like the 310, the 910, do I have control over the LED and what the condition of the LED is depending on the button condition?
Yes. In my situation here, what you're listening to me on is the new MXA 710 Array 2-foot model. I am utilizing our certified Teams platform with a P300. And I actually have a 310 connected with a mute button in my 710, and I can hit my mute on my 310 and my network mute button, and my 710 will show the mute status, or I can unmute if I need to directly from a button. So the mute sync is across all Shure devices. As we move towards soft codecing platforms where we are streamlining our AV bill of materials, this is a great, easy, quick way to add basic functionality to a system that is very necessary in every room without adding a lot of additional cost and hardware.
Well, that's great. Well, Michael, thanks for joining us on Infocomm Connected today to tell us about the MXA-NMB network mute button. Thanks a lot, Michael.
Thank you, Chris.
Well, hi, and welcome to Infocomm Connected. We're talking with Troy Jensen about something that even longtime Shure fans probably didn't expect to see from Shure these days, and that is a loudspeaker. Troy, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
All right, it's called the MXN5C, and it is a networked loudspeaker. Now, first off, why would I want to use a networked loudspeaker instead of a standard, ceiling speaker and amplifier?
Yeah, well, you mentioned amplifier. That's the first thing that I would consider. The amplifier now goes away. We don't have to worry about where are we going to mount the amplifier or place the amplifier. We don't have to worry about the heat that the amplifier might create. The amplification is built into the unit. So all we're looking for is either PoE or PoE plus. The determination there is going to be whether or not we can get a louder or softer. PoE is going to give you about 92 dB at 1 meter. PoE plus is going to give you about 98 dB at 1 meter. And we don't have to worry about where to put that amplifier. So it makes it for a very simple installation with just category cable.
Okay, well, let's get into the details of this thing because I'm sure people are curious, what's the size, what are my inputs, and power ratings and so forth. Give us the details on this speaker here.
Yep. So it requires about a 10.5-inch hole cut in either into the acoustical tile or your drywall. The outer dimensions of the grill itself from the front are about 12 inches. It's a shallow can, so it's only 4 inches deep. We wanted to ensure, we know people are competing for space above the ceiling with HVAC ductwork and conduit and sprinkler and whatever else is up there. So we stayed with a 4-inch deep can to make it as least intrusive as possible. There is a category network jack on the back, which has a cover, which you can bring hard conduit to. And again, powered either via PoE or PoE plus.
And then what about the driver size? What's size speakers in here?
Yeah, we have a 5.25-inch coaxial driver, and we picked that driver. We looked at various driver sizes and determined based on the volume of the enclosure that we have, that 5.25-inch performed better than any other driver size we were testing.
Okay, that's great. Now, what about routing the signal to it, and how do I get this configured to work with the rest of the components, my microphones and processors?
Well, it's a Dante-enabled device, so you could certainly use Dante Controller to do your routing. But if you wanted to get into the particulars, not only of the speaker, but of the Shure ecosystem, we'd like you to use Shure Designer. Shure Designer is going to give you the ability to, look at your inventory in the space and drag over a microphone, a processor, and the loudspeaker, and to give you some ability to optimize that system quick with just a one-button click. And it'll allow you to look into the loudspeaker itself. In the loudspeaker, within Designer, you'll see that there are two Dante inputs. There's also a Dante output. And some people may ask, why do we have a Dante output? Well, 99% of the time, what you want for your AEC reference is the output of the loudspeaker in the room that you're working on. So we provided a very easy pick point for people to grab that Dante transmit channel and route it to their AEC reference, whether that be on a P300 IMX Room or an MXA 910.
That's great. And what other kinds of features and processing tools have I got built into the speaker? Anything that's useful?
Yep, you actually have 4 sets of dynamics on there. So we have a delay setting from 0 to 1,000 milliseconds. There is a signal generator. That signal generator, you can select 4 different noise sources. You can select a pink noise, white noise, a sine wave, and a sweep. The sweep could be particularly useful if you're hunting for rattles or buzzes within a T-bar ceiling installation, for example. The other processing that's in there are a parametric EQ. That's a 4-band parametric EQ where you can select low cut, low shelf, and parametric. And last but not least, a limiter. And the limiter can be selected either to protect the device or to establish a not to exceed SPL level in the room that you're working in.
That's great. Now, because this speaker is part of the Shure ecosystem, as you mentioned, does that give me any advantages as far as keeping the signal secure throughout the whole audio chain?
It does. We can now offer AES 256 encryption from the microphone to the DSP to the loudspeaker. So for those clients who are looking for maximum security, we can offer AES 256 encryption throughout the audio signal chain within the room.
Vanessa Jensen from Shure is joining us now to talk about something that is kind of the linchpin. And Vanessa, I've been talking to several people today about all of the other exciting products in the Shure ecosystem of AV for meeting rooms. And honestly, the one common thread through all of it is Designer. Now, for people who are not totally familiar with Shure Designer software, what exactly is this? What does it let me do?
Yeah, so Shure's Designer software is truly the linchpin that holds it all together. It is that software tool that allows you to quickly configure and easily deploy your Shure networked audio solution. When you download Designer, you can select your network interface that you're going to be using to connect to your Shure devices. Then once you are working within Designer, all of your devices will automatically discover because they'll be on that same network, which is really great because you don't have to go through anything to actually access those devices. So once you are connected to those devices, you can simply create a project in a location. So for example, we could create the virtual Infocomm project. We could create the Shure demo room as our location. And then from there, we could simply, create that configuration. We just grab those devices from that online device area on our screen and just drop them into the workspace. And with the optimize button, Designer 4.2 is extremely simple in terms of the deployment. You click the button twice, I believe, and in a matter of minutes, you are up and running. You're passing audio. All of your Dante audio is routed for you. You have some EQ and gain settings, which are optimized. And if you're using devices that support mute sync, that is enabled as well. So it's really the turnkey solution to allow you to deploy that.
Oh, that's terrific. Well, it sounds like Designer and the Shure ecosystem products are going to be a real time saver for system integrators and help them deliver great sound to their clients. Well, I want to thank you for joining us on Infocomm Connected today.
Thank you so much, Chris. It's been a pleasure. Take care.
Thanks to our experts for joining us today. Visit shure.com/Infocomm to find out more about all of these new products in the Shure audio ecosystem. I'm Chris Lyons with Shure.